More than 4,000 years ago, a scribe in ancient Mesopotamia wrote a curious word on a clay tablet, Uzum Gal. The word is in Sumerian, humanity's oldest written language, and is believed to be the oldest known word for dragon. It's composed of the words Gal, big, and Uzum, snake. Similar to the mystery of pyramids popping up all around the world between cultures who supposedly had no contact with each other, we see the same enigma of cultures far and wide, all depicting dragons.
So around the same time period in, China, South America, Africa, all these different Rome, all these places, images depicted people fighting dragons, right? And every dragon was slightly different, but it was all a giant scaly animal that could fly.
One of the earliest depictions of dragons or giant snakes is in the Enuma Elish from the 2nd millennia BC. In the Babylonian version of this story, a serpent deity monster called Tiamat emerged from the sea to threaten all of creation. A young god, Marduk, takes up the challenge, slaying Tiamat and rescuing the people. Large serpent-like creatures that live in the sea is something that's also documented in the Bible. In that day, the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. The book of Job chapter 41 documents this Leviathan in great detail. Here's a few verses that really stand out. His sneezings flash forth light, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of his mouth go burning lights, sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke goes out of his nostrils as from a boiling pot, and burning rushes. His breath kindles coals, and a flame goes out of his mouth. St. George and the Dragon is one of the most well-known stories about dragons, and it's very similar to that one mentioned in the Bible. St. George is believed to have lived during the latter part of the 3rd century AD and served as a soldier in the Roman army. The battle with the dragon is as follows. Thus as they spake together, the dragon appeared and came running to them. And St. George was upon his horse, and drew out his sword, and garnished him with the sign of the cross, and rode heartily against the dragon which came towards him, and smote him with his spear, and hurt him sore, and threw him to the ground. And after said that to the maid, Deliver to me your girdle, and bind it around the neck of the dragon, and be not afeared. When she had done so, the dragon followed her as it had been a meek beast and debonair. When it comes to dragons in Chinese culture, their history dates back thousands of years. The Chinese dragon has a long serpentine body that's generally wingless, with an anthropomorphic face and complete with a beard. In ancient China, dragons were considered gods, and the historic symbol dating sometime around 5000 BC became the crest of the Chinese emperor. Only the emperor was allowed to use the dragon as a symbol. When it comes to the Chinese calendar, every animal that's linked to a specific month is an animal that's known to exist. The only one on that list that people claim never existed is the dragon. North America actually has a history linked to dragons as well. America is actually referred to as the land of the plumed serpent, which refers to the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. The god is also known as Kukulclan among the Yucatec Maya, and is viewed as the feathered serpent or plumed serpent. But even stranger than that is the legend of the Piasa bird, found painted on the cliff sides of the Mississippi River, that shares a lot of similarities with dragons. In 1673, Jacques Marquette saw a painting on a limestone bluff overlooking the Mississippi River while exploring the area. He recorded the following description. While skirting some rocks, which by their height and length inspired awe, we saw upon one of them two painted monsters, which at first made us afraid, and upon which the boldest savages dare not long rest their eyes. They are as large as a calf, they have horns on their heads like those of a deer, a horrible look, red eyes, a beard like a tiger's, a face somewhat like a man's, a body covered with scales, and so long a tail that it winds all around the body, passing above the head and going back between the legs. ending in a fish's tail. Green, red, and black are the three colors composing the picture. Moreover, these two monsters are so well painted that we cannot believe that any savage is their author, for good painters in France would find it difficult to reach that place conveniently to paint them. Here is approximately the shape of these monsters as we have faithfully copied it. Some people claim to see dragon-like creatures up to this very day. The Loch Ness Monster in Scotland is very similar to the sea serpent accounts that we read in the book of Isaiah and Job. One of the strangest recent claimed dragon sightings was from a SpaceX rocket launch. This video is taken from the SpaceX YouTube channel from a live stream of their rocket going up into space, and you can see in the left-hand corner here, something looks very clearly like it's flapping its wings and then shoots off to the side. This is definitely not a bird or some sort of animal or creature up this high. And yes, debris does fall off of this craft as it shoots up higher into the sky, but seeing it look like it flaps its wings and then drastically shoot off in a different direction, not falling in the same trajectory, is definitely very strange. The definition for dragon in the 1946 Webster's Collegiate Dictionary is pretty interesting. The very first definition says now rare, a huge serpent. Second says a fabulous animal, generally a monstrous winged, scaly serpent, lizard, or saurian, which means a large reptile. If dragons did or do still exist, here's one reason as to why no one ever finds their bones in the fossil record.
So when you break that down, you think about the fact that large birds had a hard time being fossilized because their bones are so porous, right? So because bones, they have like hollowish bones, they break down very easily and they don't fossilize. So it's like the science is saying that if there were lizards big enough to fly around and eat people, they didn't have bones that could fossilize.
So it'd be like an eagle.
Right. And that's why, that's why all these human populations around the world have depictions of them, because they did actually exist.
Dragons probably don't still exist in the same sense as these ancient accounts, although that SpaceX video is pretty strange, but the Bible does tell us of a different dragon, and I can assure you this one still exists today. So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Satan is referred to as the dragon, and he, his angels, and the other evil hosts still exist today. They're probably even connected to these strange sightings of creatures that people are getting glimpses of all around the world. God tells us the fate of this dragon in Revelation 20:1-3. Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold of the dragon, that serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal on him, so that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years were finished. But after these things, he must be released for a little while. When Satan is released, he has one final attempt to try to attack God, his city, and the people who follow him. But this will end very bad for him. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. The devil who deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. The connection between cultures who had no human-to-human contact, all depicting this same type of creature, to me prove that something along these lines existed. Whether it still exists today, I would say, if anything, what people are seeing is a breakthrough from the spiritual realm into our own of different types of hellish creatures, and they for certain are connected to the dragon, also known as Satan. But the good news is, unlike in ancient times, where they feared the dragon would come and devour them at any moment, if you believe in Jesus Christ and have made him the Lord of your life, you have someone infinitely more powerful on your side, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Jesus Christ. He has the ultimate victory over everything in all of creation. He is the true dragon slayer that you definitely want to follow.